In this second video, we're going to look at a more general equation of a circle. We looked in the last video at circles centered on the origin. Here we're looking at circles which are not centered on the origin. So we've given it a general center AB, the point AB, and a radius of R. So, if you think of it, it makes sense. It's like a version of the distance formula, isn't it? Any point x, y on the perimeter must be r away from the centre. So x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. That's basically a special version. That bit's the distance formula squared. So that's the radius squared. Because you know the definition of a circle is it's the same distance from a point. But anyway, this one is given to you in your formula sheet. Okay, so, and radius r, center AB. Okay, so we need to be able to use this. So, if I was looking at this one here, that's A, that's B, that's R. So all we need to do is plug it into this formula. So we have x minus 3 squared plus y, now minus a minus is a plus, so y plus 4 squared equals 5 squared is 25. And that's it. That's all we need to do for that question. Doing it the other way round, remember it's minus a minus b, so in this case a would be minus 5. Yeah, minus a minus is a plus. B would be 2. R is going to be the square root of that, isn't it? So root 36, which is 6. So we can say centre minus 5, 2. Radius 6. And that's just a basic level using this formula. We'll do a few more examples. Looking at this third question, it's saying A, 3, 4 is the centre of a circle that passes through this point 7, 7. Find its equation. Okay. What we need though, remember the distance from the centre to the outside of the circle, to the circumference of the circle, is the radius. So that's going to be the distance from A to B. So I need to work out AB because that's the radius. And using our distance formula, 7 minus 3 squared plus 7 minus 4 squared. If we work that out, that gives me 5. Okay, because 4 squared plus 3 squared, which is 16 and 9, 25, root 25. 5. Okay, so now we now know its centre, so that's A, that's B, and we've just worked out what R is. So, using our equation, we've got x minus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals R squared. Well, if R's 5, R squared 5 times 5, 25. Okay, let's look at this next one. Now, it asks me whether this point lies on, inside or outside the circle. If it's that, we're looking at that being x, this being the y coordinate, okay? If when I plug it into this thing, that the x coordinate, that the y coordinate, this is equal to 25, it would be on the circle. If that, when I plug it into this equation, is greater than 25, it's outside the circle. And if when I put it into this equation, it's less than 25, it would be inside the circle. Because remember, that's the distance. It's the square of the distance from the centre of the circle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with this bit. So we've got 3 minus 1 squared plus 5 minus 2 squared. Well, look, if we looked at that, that gives me 2 squared, which is 4, plus 3 squared, which which is 9. So that gives me 13, doesn't it? Which is less than 25. Okay? Therefore, because it's less than 25, it's inside the circle. H lies inside the circle. Remember, if it had been more than 25, it had been outside. If it's equal to 25, it's on the circle. Okay, we'll do a couple more examples. Okay, looking at this one, it says a circle has diameter AB, where A is 2, 1 and B minus 1, 5. Find the equation of the circle. Well, if we're given a diameter, the midpoint of the diameter will be the centre, won't it? So if I'm going to work out the mid of AB, remember we add the coordinates and divide by 2, so 2 minus 1 over 2. And 1 plus 5 over 2 would give me a half 3. That's the centre. Okay. Also, if we know the diameter would be the distance from A to B, wouldn't it? Which is 2 plus 1 squared plus 1 minus 5 squared. So that's 3 squared plus, well, minus 4 squared, which is 4 squared. That's going to be 5. So the radius is half of that, isn't it? Okay. Right, so now we can write it down. That's A, that's B, that's R. So what we've got is we've got x minus a half squared, remember that's 2.5, plus y minus 3 squared equals, if you square 2.5, you're going to get 6.25. Or or 6.25 if you prefer. Okay, so we've got x minus a half squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 6.25. And that's the equation of our circle. Remember, any time you're given a diameter, the midpoint will be the centre. And if you work out the distance across the diameter, half of that is your radius. Let's move on to this last example in video 2. Find the equation of a circle concentric with this circle, but with 3 times its radius. Well, if we look at that one, it's got a centre of 2, 1. That's not going to change because remember, concentric means it's got the same centre. But that one's got radius, if you take the square root of that, you get 4. So the new radius is 3 times that, which is 12. So what we have is x minus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared, 12 squared, 144. Okay, you should now be able to do all the questions in the second exercise.